This video is on foam rolling for the upper body. I did a previous video on foam rolling for the lower body with the foam roller. I also did one with tennis balls or lacrosse balls. So we're going to focus on upper body using the foam roller today. There are different sizes of foam rollers. Some are smooth, some have texture. It doesn't matter, it's kind of your preference. The ones that have textures do kind of dig into some of the spots more than like the smooth ones. The smooth ones also have firmer densities than others. So it doesn't matter whichever one you might have at home or whatever your preference is. We're going to be starting foam rolling out our lat muscles and our pec muscles using this. If you didn't see my other videos, I was talking about the importance of myofascial release, which is what you are doing when you are foam rolling. You are releasing that fascia tissue that surrounds those muscles, which can restrict the movements throughout the joint and the muscle tissue as well. So we want to make sure that we are incorporating foam rolling in our everyday workouts. It helps us to recover faster. It also helps to hydrate the tissue. So as we're rolling through that, we're flushing fluid into those tight bound areas. As you age as well, the muscles start to run a bit more cross-sectionally than sliding and gliding real easy. If you've had injuries, surgeries, have some kind of miscompensation within that joint, foam rolling can really help with the alignment of that as well. Then if you use foam rolling in addition to stretching, that will also help to increase flexibility than just stretching alone. It's something you don't have to spend a lot of time on. You can do just 1 or 2 minutes per muscle group. You can do it real quickly, but it'll really, over time, if you start to do this regularly, this will really make a difference in your mobility and your flexibility. So starting with the lats are a very big muscle group. They run all the way down your back and out to the sides, but we're going to focus on this part right through kind of the top of the ribs and right through here. You want to make sure when you are foam rolling on the lat that you are not rolling over your ribs. Your knees can be bent and kind of drape your body over into that area of the muscle that I was mentioning in through those lats. Your top leg can be extended up or it can be bent. If you need support through the neck, you can hold here. You can even hold down here if you feel more support through there. There's kind of lots of ways to kind of roll through the lats. But if we're just running with the muscle group, I'm pushing through my knees, slightly lifting my hips up, or I can also, if it's easier to push through my foot, I can extend that leg out in front. If my arm is extended forward, I can do that as well if I don't need that extra support through my neck. If I find kind of an area that's tight, I can hold in that spot. You want to hold until you feel that muscle relax just a little bit, or no longer than about 60 seconds. You don't want to cause any bruising or soreness in those tissue areas as well. And then you can kind of find and roll around in another spot. If you lean back just a little bit, you may get a little bit more on the backside. That may be a section that you might be tighter in as well. You can also lift your hips up almost as if you're doing a side plank, and that's going to push directly down into that lat just a little bit more for deeper pressure. You find a spot too. You can also move the arm around a little bit, which will just work through a bigger surface area, a bit more dynamic movement as you're working through those tender areas that you might have. You can also run kind of side to side, so even if you wanted to rock a little bit to kind of find and explore where those soreness areas are, and maybe just have that focus point be kind of on those sore areas. Now we'll do this on the other side, but we'll go on to our chest because we're already in that similar position to get to the chest. To get to the chest muscle part, you're going to be rolling towards the front of the shoulder, not directly on the bone of the shoulder, as well as not directly on breast tissue. So right in between, kind of the outside of that breast tissue to the front of the shoulder, you're going to lay forward. that bottom leg can extend straight back so that you can rotate your backs a little bit more into that neutral position. So we're laying forward over the foam roller, doing the same thing, palms face down right here though. Doing the same thing we were just doing as far as kind of rocking side to side with those lats. I can push a little bit through my knee or my back foot. If I find a sore spot, I can hold onto it. If you also feel like you need to get into that a little bit more, you can even take the edge of that foam roller and push directly into that spot. Again, holding till you feel a little bit release, no longer than 60 seconds. You can also add some arm movement with that. So with your palm face down, you can move your arm back and forth. That'll work through some of those bound areas of tissue. If you find a sore spot, you can even hold, making sure that you're taking deep breaths in and out when you get on those sore spots. You don't want to be holding or tensing up your body as you're trying to release it. So breathing is important here as well. Moving that foam roll around a little bit and finding those spots. Going over to the other side. So we'll just move this over to the other side, starting with those lats again. So draping our body over the side, knees can be bent or that top leg can be extended out. My hand can be supported under here if I need it, or it can be extended out in front. We can find kind of by just rolling, remember to stay away from the ribs, kind of rolling up all the way to the back part, a little bit of the back part of the shoulder, but not directly on the bone. Find a sore spot, we can hold it. Deep breaths in and out. Your head can also be, hand can be supported here too. We can also lift our hips up higher to push deeper into that area. We're not feeling much with having our hips down. You can even lift up a little bit and back down, shifting it to another spot, pressing into it just a little bit. Lots of different ways of doing this as well. Rock side to side. You lean back a little bit. Some of you might be a little bit tighter, more towards the back or the back of the shoulder. Holding when you find any of those spots, taking some nice deep breaths in and out. And relax. One of the areas too that you might become tight in is in through that mid-back area, which is your thoracic spine and the lower back. So we'll roll the whole back out first and they'll show you a thoracic extension exercise. Hands behind your head. You're going to bridge up a little bit. Try to keep a neutral spine, meaning that my hips aren't rotated forward as I'm here or rotated back. I just want to keep a nice straight position as I push through to roll my back. Hands are behind your head, elbows are in, and you're rolling forward and back. As you have those elbow in position, that's opening the shoulder blades, so allowing you to get a bigger surface area right in between the shoulder blades, which are usually the areas that people have tension. If you're trying to get more towards the lower back, you can position the foam roller right above the pelvis. And then keeping a little bit more of a diagonal line with the body, kind of rolling and pushing again through my feet, up and down. My elbows, they can be out, they can be in, doesn't really matter on this one. I want to get a little bit more into the side of my lower back, maybe your QL muscle, which runs on the back side of the pelvis and attaches to those lower ribs. I can lean over a little bit, putting one elbow underneath the shoulder, kind of leaning into that one side of the low back. Just be careful of the ribs. I don't want to be rolled over to the front. I'm just kind of getting into that little back area right through here. And then I can go over to the other side, doing the same thing, rolling up and down just a little bit. And then relax. A lot of tension can be found in through the lats and the pecs due to the technology that we have a lot of days. A lot of you might be sitting down on a computer or a phone or tablet, so we're in this position a lot. So we will need to open up the lats, open up the chest, as well as open up through the thoracic spine, the mid-back area. So using the foam roller, you can do what's called a thoracic extension exercise. If you lay down with the foam roller about through the middle of your scapula. Get in that same position that you were in where you're rolling hand behind your head with your elbows in. Knees are bent, feet flat on the floor. We're gonna open up the thoracic spine by taking a deep breath in, and then as you exhale, lower the head back over the foam roller, so you might feel like kind of a deep stretch through the mid back area. And then gently come back up. If you want to go a little bit deeper than that, push through the heels, bring the foam roller towards the base of the shoulder blades. Inhale, and then exhale, extend back. Coming back up, bringing it all the way at the base of those shoulder blades. Inhale. And now this one is a bit deeper, so if this does not feel comfortable, go back to one of the first two positions. So you can kind of lower or raise that position for whatever your level of comfort is. Focus on just being kind of allowing that sternum to lift, that thoracic spine to open up and extend, and then coming up nice and slow. You can do that a few reps, maybe 10, 15, at the most probably 20 seconds as well. That really helps to open up that area as well. Another reason why doing those lat things that we did in the beginning was not only that helps with the extension through the arm, doing those thoracic extensions affect what our shoulder joint does and our shoulder mobility as well. So it plays a key in the movement of the upper body using those exercises. I'll show you a stretch that you can do with the foam roller. So as I mentioned at the beginning, both doing foam rolling exercises as well as combining that with stretching will increase mobility and flexibility more than just stretching alone. So if I'm on my knees, I'm going to take my hands palms faced up, sitting back towards my heels. I don't have to be sitting all the way down. I can, or my hips can be up just a little bit. Palms faced up. I'm going to reach out and extend away from me, allowing my ears to drop down below between my biceps. And I'm just holding this stretch. This is a really deep stretch for those lats. I can do double arm just like I'm doing right here. Can come up. If I want to do single arm, I'm taking that arm a little bit at a diagonal. If I need support through my body, I can have that opposite arm here, or I can lean all the way forward. Just focusing a bit more onto that lat. It'll give you a little bit different stretch to it as that's coming across the body. Roll it up, take it to the other side, palm faced out, inching down, deep breath in and out. And then slowly coming back up. The video that I did with the tennis balls also mentioned some exercises right through that mid back for the upper body, which are great. I'm going to show you one really quickly, but what you can do, this is called a peanut massage tool. You can take, if you don't have a peanut massage tool, you can take a lacrosse ball or tennis balls. Tennis balls are usually a little bit easier to start off with versus a firm lacrosse ball. You can put it in a tube sock, and then you can place it right in the middle of those shoulder blades. So right on the outside of the spine, inside the shoulder blade, and then one on each side. That's what the peanut position just allows for. Your spine sits right here, and you can lay directly back in through that area. So I'm going to put this right about my mid-back area. My head can be up the whole time, or if I need support, I can put something small behind it or extend my head down. Just kind of draw the rib cage down. We're going to alternate one arm at a time, reaching overhead and back down. I mentioned the importance of having flexibility through the lats. This exercise also allows you to get a stretch in through your lats, as well as working some of those bound areas around the mid-back area. If the hips are lifted up, it will push a little bit deeper in towards those bound areas of tension. Trying to keep, as you extend the arm up, trying to keep the rib cage drawn down. The focus isn't on trying to touch the ground, it's to get a stretch. So you don't want to be extending through the lumbar, your low back, or your thoracic mid-back spine as you go back. You want to keep that rib cage drawn down and then extend as far back as you get for that deep stretch. You can also use that peanut or those balls that might be behind if you're using two tennis balls to roll back and forth, similar to how we rolled our back, but now this is directly a bit more concentrated into those mid-back muscles. Find an area of tension you can hold, take a couple deep breaths in and out, and then relax. One other tool I wanted you to know about was what's similar to kind of a Theracane. This is a massage tool that can get into those bound areas that kind of are in those upper traps, maybe base of the neck, some of those areas that can be really tight and tense. So with these tools, what you would do is you find one of those knots that you can get into, and you press down and then push away with the lower hand, creating a bit more tension and resistance. Just working, this one you're just holding. So no rolling with this one, just finding those sore spots and pressing down, taking some deep breaths in and out. These can also be used with movement. So if I have like some restriction in my neck rotation, I can find where that restriction area is, push into it, and then add a little bit more neck rotation. So sometimes our body, we have areas of tension, it's guarding areas, which is causing that muscle to tense up, decreasing our range of motion. You can also do that with the side bend. So using this tool can actually help relieve that tension in that area and increase your joint mobility in some of the restricted areas. You can even go lower into the back as well with this, but I just wanted to point that out because it's a really easy tool to have, and it can make a big difference. We're going to finish with the chest stretch. So I mentioned stretching in addition to rolling. So since we rolled out our pecs, we will also we'll also add that chest stretch. So bringing the arm back behind, step 1 foot forward, bending the knee of the front foot, both shoulders and hips are facing the same way. This would stretch out more of the middle of the chest. You want to get a little bit higher into that pec minor, back off just a little bit, angle that arm up, and then you would step forward in the same manner, but you're going to feel that stretch just a little bit higher. Nice deep breaths in and out. You can also even angle your arm a little bit lower, getting more in the lower part of the pec. And then you would do that on the other side. Same stretch. Same leg as arm, extended back at about at shoulder level. Coming back out, reach it up a little bit higher, then reach back into it. Deep breath in and out. Take it back, bring it down just a little bit. Sometimes stretching with shorter durations can actually help to increase your flexibility because on that second time you do it, your body's releasing a little bit. So even 20 or 30 seconds, that helps as well. So this is foam rolling for the upper body.